I want to share some of my best housekeeping tips as for busy moms of a bunch of little ones like myself. But be assured that I would never ever try to do all that I'm doing in this video today if all my children were at home.
My name is Melinda. I am a happy wife and mom of 4. Thank you for joining me today as I share the things that I have learned with other busy young moms like myself.
I want to share some things that I have learned in my housekeeping journey as a mom of a bunch of little ones. I feel my mom always tried her best to teach us to do a bunch of chores, and she did good with teaching us housekeeping. But there's one thing to have a list of chores to do when you're young, and it's another thing to have to do all the chores and all the meals and all the dishes and all the laundry and take care of a bunch of little children. And so I thought I would also I wanted to share some of my tips or some of the things that I have learned that you might find help or an idea in it that would help you. Others gave me tips. Maybe not everything will apply to you or your lifestyle. There's different things, but you might get something. I thought for something fun and different, I would bring you along as I do some housekeeping and homemaking and different chores today on different work. All that you'll see in this video, it's a lot that I did this day, but it was a day when my husband had to go work near my parents' place, which is 2 hours away. And so it worked for him to take the girls out to my mom's place for all day. So from 5 in the morning till late at night, I had the house to myself with the baby. And when I had just one baby, or just two, it was hard, but now I feel I've learned how to juggle a bit better. That with being at home alone all day with one baby sounds easy. So I don't want anyone to get discouraged watching how much I get done in a day, because if I would have little children here, I wouldn't even try. I've learned that. So come along and let's see what you can learn, and I hope you will be blessed. One of the first tips I want to share is one that we hear just about everywhere, but it's to make your bed in the mornings. I know for myself that if I get my bed made, getting back to bed in the evening feels so much better. For some reason, it rarely happens, but if I don't get my bed made, or the children decide they're making nests out of pillows and blankets and they mess up the whole bed, when I get to bed, there's just something that doesn't feel quite as good. It's not that I don't sleep good then or anything, but there's a satisfaction of getting your bed made. You know, at least you did one thing. So, like you've probably heard elsewhere, make your bed. Another tip I would have probably would be to make sure you do all your dishes every day. This was one that when I had just my first one or two, I would often leave the evening dishes, or even for my first 3. Leave the evening dishes for the next day, partly because I'm a morning person. I got too tired, and I had a big huge sink that could hide all the pile of dishes. Now I don't anymore. I have just a usual kitchen sink, and so I do the dishes every day, every evening, unless I'm too sick or something, but generally the dishes get done every evening. But just once a day, even those times when I didn't do them in the evening, I would every day get all the dishes washed at least once. If you can do it 3 times a day, all the better, but at least once. And that has really helped, because at least once a day, then all your dishes are back and up to date and you have fresh dishes to use. The other thing to take care of every day, at least for me, is the laundry. I do the laundry every day except Sundays, and almost every day, especially in my baby seasons when I have cloth diapering babies. I do my laundry every day. I find it so much easier to just keep up with the laundry if I do it every day. We need less clothes, and I can just get 1 or 2 loads out a day, dried, folded, cleaned up. Not quite every day. Sometimes laundry stays from one day to the next, but in general. And so that would be my encouragement. If you can do all the laundry in one day, all the better. But if that doesn't suit your style, I know for some people it doesn't work. It works much better just doing it once a day. So you can see what works best for you. Another thing that I didn't do much in my first years that overwhelmed me, but now I start seeing it more and more as a necessity, was to sweep the floor every day. I have a small house, so it makes it easier, and I don't sweep under all the furniture and so on. I just give the main area, and especially the table area where the little children drop rice and crumbs and whatever all, give that a sweep at least once a day. Another thing you can do that I sometimes like to do is just once a day quickly look over the floor for spots and clean the dirty spots if you can see them. My children are sometimes happy if I give them a wet rag and they can go and clean the spots. And I know it doesn't look perfect, but I know a lot of people here in Costa Rica, they clean their floors about every day. The floor is the part you keep the most clean, but for me that's a little bit much. I should. Someday when my girls are all big, we'll probably do that, but not for now. But at least we keep it looking a bit better. There are some more tips that have helped me with housekeeping, with just running a home, that I've had to learn to some extent or practice or whatever. One is to be flexible. Like I said, I'm doing all this in one day, cleaning the floor and baking and everything that you'll see in this video. But when I have little children, I basically plan to have my usual day, the meals, the dishes, the laundry, the house cleanup, and maybe one other thing. I wouldn't bake 4 recipes like I did today. 4 recipes of things. It would be one thing. And so, but to be very flexible. Doesn't get done, doesn't get done. If it gets done, perfect. Another thing I've done sometimes to make sure I get things done is I start everything in the morning. Start making the bread, start washing the curtains, start whatever all. And then it all has to get finished before I go to bed. Some of it at least. And otherwise it wouldn't get done. But I try not to start too much in this baby season. Unless I have help or unless not all the children are at home. Because I know it can be hard. Don't feel bad if you can't get so much done. There's seasons for everything. Another good tip, especially in a small home, but almost any home would benefit from it, is to keep minimalizing. I do a bit deeper cleaning once in a while, a shelf or a drawer or something. I check, what have I not used in all these several last years? What do I not need? What do I have extra? And get rid of it. And the less stuff there is, we're 6 people in a small home, so it slowly keeps filling up, but the less stuff there is, the better we can manage it. And the better it feels, and the less cluttered my brain space is. Another very good thing to do is teach your children to help. I will sometimes try to get a video up about age-appropriate chores and what I have my children do. But having them help, when they're big, they'll be a big help. And for now, even my 5 and 6-year-old, that I don't have to clear the breakfast nor the dinner table, that I don't have to wash all the dishes, I still have to do all the kitchen detailed cleanup. But there's simple things like that. I don't have to clean up all the toys every time. I can tell them to, and they can do it. It helps a whole lot. And once they'll be bigger and can do it all, it will be a big, big help. It's not that they're my slaves, but they get plenty of time to play, but their help helps me, and then I can also be there more for them. With all the other chores that are like not the daily ones, I do kind of like a loop schedule. Let's say, I don't do it exactly, but let's say I have things like the windows, cleaning the windows. There's certain chores that I have weekly or twice a week, but certain chores that are once a month, like I mentioned, the windows or some other deeper cleaning, and I take turns. So I have them in an order, and I do the top one first. I do the windows first, let's say, and then if it takes me a few weeks or a few months or extra till I can get to them again, well, that's how it has to be. But at least it gets cleaned once in a while. I go down the list, get everything done on that list, and then start over again. And so I know that everything is regularly getting cleaned, even if it takes longer between cleanings than I wish. That's how it is for now, and that's okay. Get help if you can. I have the blessing of having my mom and my mother-in-law and a neighbor lady who at the season are all not full-time occupied. They don't have small children. They all are willing to help me when they can and if they can. I have almost every day, almost all day, I take care of the children myself. Well, my husband does when he's home. But when I need, I have someone. And when I was in the first months postpartum and so on, I needed someone to do my cleaning. I had someone who could do it. And I really think that that's a good thing. If you can at all, find some help. You don't need to feel bad that you need help. Like I've said in a video about self-care, if we get some help, then it helps us to be better moms later to our children, and that is a good thing. Find what works for you. Test different routines, different schedules, different cleaning forms, different ways of doing things. And remember, the first months with a baby will anyways be tough, or the first years, or when you have a bunch of little children. But find something that works so that you can, at least most of the time, reasonably keep up with things. There are evenings, there are days when there's a pile of laundry that needs to be folded, and a pile of dishes that needs to be washed, and all the toys are scattered. The beds never got made. The children are all grumpy. There are hours like that. I have them too. In general, it doesn't happen every day, and I try to work hard so it doesn't. That's why I don't plan too much for a day. If it does, sometimes it's okay. You'll get to everything again. But for the times that when you can do something, try to work on finding a system that'll work for you. We have different systems, different ways that each of us does our housekeeping, but we have to find something that most of all helps us to feel restful. That's one thing. I can always, God gives me the grace, if I ask Him for it, to be able to handle everything when the house is a mess. But I can handle tantrums, I can handle the little details, I can pay more attention to my children easier if my brain space is not cluttered with a messy house. And that's why I work towards keeping it clean and neat, so that I can be there more for them. It's a blessing sometimes. Sometimes we need to leave the house the way it is and enjoy our children. I think it's a good thing. If you're all overwhelmed, it might be a good thing to leave the house and go and take your children on a walk or something. At least when you're gone from home, it doesn't get worse if you're all gone. And the work doesn't run away, it stays right there waiting for you. And so you can do some of those things, but also keeping the house clean so that you can have more time to freely do those things is something that I'm striving for. I hope some of these tips could maybe give you an idea or an encouragement about how you could do it. And I hope you can enjoy your children. In a house with little children, things just cannot be perfect, cannot be everything in their place. And that's okay. We need to focus on what is the most important. And sometimes it is getting the house cleaned up, and sometimes it is taking time for our children. Thank you for spending this time with me and seeing what I got done on this day. A little bit of my housekeeping, some of it, not near all of it. And I hope it could be an inspiration for you, and we'll see you next time.